And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. This article is coming from the Basketball Network. Shout out to Too Raw for Sports and Dreamers Pro. I saw them do a video on this, and that is Ben Simmons accuses Michael Jordan of having the refs in his pocket. So like I said, this article is coming from the Basketball Network. It says Ben Simmons marvels at how Michael Jordan had the referees in his pocket. If he was yelling at the ref is kind of bummed out. Says Michael Jordan was a once-in-a-lifetime player in so many ways. However, according to Ben Simmons, something about MJ's aura separated him from all the others. The Boston-raised journalist and author witnessed how his airness commanded respect even from the game officials. The best one I ever saw going to games over the years was dealing with the refs was Jordan. He said on the Bill Simmons podcast, I think there is so much star power with Jordan. I almost feel like this helps the GOAT case. The way the refs are in his pocket, and I'm not talking about him getting the calls. I'm talking about him like they were in the dead spots when people are shooting free throws. Before the game, these guys treated him like he was Beyonce walking on stage, especially in the 3 years after he came back. He just had a command of the fans, the ref, the room, added the author of the book of basketball. Nobody is quite like Mike. MJ's name was mentioned after Simmons and Ryan Russillo discussed how Boston Celtics superstar Jason Tatum deals with the refs. The 27-year-old does not verbally complain as much, but he developed a habit that has already cost him technicals. Quote, Tatum, he is just a great guy. He's just a good guy, but Tatum does 3-4 stupid things with the refs that he can't stop doing. He does the wave, and when you do that, that's a technical. You might as well go towards them and shake your fist or something. He does this passive-aggressive stuff that they hate even more, the 55-year-old added. On the other hand, Jordan had the invincible factor, unlike any other. When he's upset with the call, he could say whatever he wanted. If he was yelling at the ref is kind of bummed out. You could actually see them kind of lose it. He was the best. Kobe was another one who had it, stated Simmons. Even as the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, his airness tried to intimidate the officials whenever he had the chance. The rule book protected him from getting punished for it, just like his aura did during his playing days. So yeah, according to Ben Simmons, MJ had the refs in his pocket, so to speak. But as the beginning of the article said, I believe it is more, and I'm quoting this from the beginning of the article. He says, the Boston raised journalist and author witnessed how his airness commanded respect even from the game officials. And I believe this is what it's about. Michael Jordan commanded respect. And I think there's lots of reasons for that. But before we get into that part, let's talk about this. They talk about how players deal with the ref. We know in this modern NBA, there's a whole lot of whining going on. Seems like so much more so than what used to be. It seems like these players whine anytime they miss a shot, almost. And especially we don't have to say who is the leader of this movement, who is the leader of whining and complaining to the refs, and to me doing things that he never gets technicals for, but he should probably get technicals for every time. With this going on in the modern day, To me, when I think about Michael Jordan, you know, whatever you want to say about him getting specialized treatment, which all superstars do to some extent. All superstars are going to get some calls, are going to get, you know, the benefit of the doubt in a lot of situations. But what they don't take into account, and I say especially with Michael Jordan and some, you know, probably Larry Bird and Kobe Bryant off the top of my head, but definitely with Michael Jordan, is the fact that there were a lot of no calls that Jordan didn't complain about at all. You know, whatever you want to say he complained about, there were a lot of no calls that he didn't complain about. You know, in the playoffs where Reggie Miller hit the game winner over him, you know, where Reggie Miller clearly shoved Michael Jordan backwards in order to create that space. And when it was over, Michael Jordan just accepted the L. You know, he didn't throw a big tantrum like we know somebody would have. And there's plenty of plays. All you got to do is go watch Michael Jordan highlights. And there's plenty of plays where you can see Michael Jordan, you know, getting smacked in the face, you know, hit by 2 or 3 people, and he doesn't complain at all. And so the reason I'm saying this, I believe, is because it is human nature to root for someone who you can tell is truly giving their all and doing their best. It's human nature. You know, if you happen to be working on a project with someone, if you see someone really busting it, that tends to make you want to work even harder yourself. Number one, because you don't want to be the weak link. And, you know, number 2, because it's inspiring when you see someone truly giving their all for something, and it makes you want to root for them. So I believe this is also part of the reason that Michael Jordan got the respect from the refs, because he got respect from everybody. He commanded the respect from everybody because of how he conducted himself on and off the court. You know, he again, you know, Michael Jordan, everything with Michael Jordan came from how he plays the game. So I believe, you know, the refs were no different, even though they're reffing the game. And I don't think it's just, you know, you can apply this to Michael Jordan, but, you know, you can even just apply this to any team. You know, a lot of times, if you're watching a game and one team clearly has the momentum because they are going at it hard, they tend to get more calls. I don't think this is an accident, unless you're the Lakers. If you're the Lakers with LeBron James, your team tends to get more calls because the NBA is protecting LeBron James and it does everything in its power to help LeBron James. But outside of that, in a normal situation, if 2 teams are going at it and one team has the momentum because they are really playing hard, they are really hustling, diving for loose balls, you know, playing defense is with as much effort as they can possibly muster, hitting the boards and, you know, doing all the little things that contribute to winning the game, that team also normally gets more calls. Because I just think it's a human nature thing. And the refs aren't exempt from that. The refs aren't exempt from feeling that momentum, from feeling how hard the team is working. And I don't even think it's a conscious thing that they're doing. You know, I don't think they're purposefully leaning in favor of one team or another in general. Now, obviously, you know, refs are human too, and we can get into the allegations of refs trying to force the game one way or another for the sake of gambling and all these kind of things. But just speaking in general, I don't think the refs are purposefully leaning one way or another. Like I said, I think it's more based on the momentum of the team, and that it's just human nature to root for who you see is putting in the work, putting in the effort. And so he also mentioned Kobe Bryant, in which this should be no surprise as well. Kobe, someone who was known for working hard, so someone who was known for giving his all. It should be no surprise that Kobe had some of that same type of thing as well. And again, I would argue is because you have to look at the other side of it as well, is that, there were a lot of times Kobe got hacked and didn't call it, and didn't make a big deal about it. But a lot of that was because Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were real competitors. And part of that competitive spirit was, hey, you can foul me if you want to. You still can't stop me. Like this, and this is, this is the big problem with LeBron James, that I really have a problem with people trying to dismiss him not having that killer instinct as if it's not a big deal. That is a huge deal in competitive sports. That is a huge deal. So Kobe and Mike had that attitude that, hey, you can foul me, you can do whatever you want. Bad boy Pistons, you can throw me to the ground, you can almost injure me, you can do whatever you want. But as long as I'm still breathing, I'm coming right back to the hole. Like they had that attitude. Remember when D Wade busted Kobe's nose or whatever, and Kobe said, I love it. They had the competitive attitude of, of taking on the challenge no matter what it is. And I believe that is what, fed into them having a different kind of relationship with the refs, if you will, of the refs having more of that ultimate respect. And then, with Michael Jordan, and Dreamers Pro touched on this, we have to just face the fact that Michael Jordan was an ultra mega superstar. He was bigger than the game of basketball. And that's another thing, is Michael Jordan was someone who was actually bigger than the game of basketball, whereas LeBron James is not. Yet he tries to talk about what he's done for the game of basketball. Whereas Michael Jordan talked about what the game did for him. And when I say Michael Jordan is bigger than the game of basketball, I'm sure Michael Jordan doesn't think so. But what I'm saying is, for the fans, Michael Jordan, he was the game of basketball in the 90s. He was who everyone was modeling their game after. He was the reason that non-basketball fans were watching the game. He was the reason that, the game went global, and that we start to see the emergence of so many basketball players from overseas. He was the reason that took the marketability of athletes to new heights. And being able to be endorsed with so many endorsements, and again, if you've seen that movie Air, like I said, I don't know if this is actually a direct quote or if this is just a quote that was made for the movie. But in the movie, Michael Jordan's mother said, as she was negotiating the fact that the only way Michael Jordan would sign with Nike is if he actually got a piece of the shoe sales. And, the guy was like, well, we've never done this before, and I don't know if I can do this. And her reasoning, she said something to the effect that, if my son does what I know he's going to do, and what he knows he's going to do, it won't be the NBA marketing my son, but it will be my son marketing the NBA. And this is exactly what happened, people. Michael Jordan was the star who you can actually say Michael Jordan marketed the NBA. Michael Jordan himself brought many more fans to the NBA. Again, non-basketball fans. And, I've said this before. This is why, go look it up. No matter what you think about the ratings and what they are now, and, during the LeBron James era, the ratings have fell have fallen, 48% since 2012, I believe it is. But even before that, the ratings have never, ever recovered from when Michael Jordan retired as a Chicago Bull. They never, ever recovered from that. This is not a coincidence, people. This is not a coincidence at all. This is the Michael Jordan effect. This shows you that people, non-basketball fans were watching. And when Michael Jordan retired, they didn't have a reason to watch anymore. People who weren't really a fan of the game of basketball, who were just a fan of Michael Jordan, didn't have a reason to watch the game anymore. So, Michael Jordan was bigger than the game of basketball in that sense, and nobody was immune from it, not even the referees. And so not only did the referees get to see Michael Jordan in person with that never say die attitude, with that never give up mentality, someone who worked hard, who never took a night off, who held his teammates accountable, not only did they see this in person on a nightly basis, but they also saw the megastar outside of basketball, or because of basketball, that Michael Jordan became. They saw the guy who was doing videos with Michael Jackson, who is, the greatest pop star to ever live. They saw the basketball frenzy that Michael Jordan inspired in the 90s. And so nobody was immune to this. So anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of Bill Simmons saying that Mike had the refs in his pocket? Do you think this was, is part of what made Michael Jordan the GOAT? Or do you think this was a result of Michael Jordan being the GOAT? And like I said, the other side to it is the fact that there were plenty of times that Michael Jordan was hacked and never complained at all. Never looked at the refs. He wasn't LeBron James. He wasn't soft. He wasn't complaining after every single call. And so I think that's a thing of respect too, that the refs had to see this. The ref had to see that, oh man, I missed that call. He got killed. And he didn't say anything at all. So they knew if Michael Jordan was actually going to complain about something, that it was a real complaint, But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.